need you guys to buckle up because we're about to enter some wild territory right now. Depa Balaba, all these amazing top tier Jedi versus Grandmaster Yoda. Let's go. Give me an air heart. Give me a yeet. All right. A Jedi, what's that deepest commitment? Thank you. Hit it. All right. Come on. Oh, yeah. Almost there. Hold on. Heal. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. All right. People. Everyone needs to get up. Stretch out. We got to get our kick game on here. We're going to get a kick sponsorship after this. People, Depa Balaba, 1,000,000,000% worth it. Open your credit cards now. Ladies and gentlemen, Gungan's Droids, Chaotic Mundi Coneheads, and all you Shatterpoint living Jedi out there to today's video, where we are in the final countdown in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. For next week, it's a big week. We have Jedi Master Mace Windu ready to be unlocked on June 24th, and the new Order 66 raid. You see what I did there? But today, my friends, we need to talk about the sheer genius of Depa Balaba, the final requirement for Jedi Master Mace Windu. And if the intro didn't sell you, CG, they finally gave us a character that we had to really stretch our imagination and figure out how to use her until you get Jedi Master Mace Windu. Well, we now have a solution for the Grand Master Yoda Legendary event. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Jokes aside, let's have a little chat about this character where, spoiler alert, spoiler. Well, let's just put it this way. As we've been seeing lately, CG's been kind of weird with tags, you know, thematic attributes to raids, and of course, the most important thing, putting Craggle all over us. Shout out to my Lego movie fans, where they kind of force us to use characters in very specific ways out there. Well, she's kind of has that problem a little bit. Where let's just say some parts for Kit, I would say, you know, Kit Fisto or I'm a Gundai might have a little bit more involved with their kit. I digress. We got a bunch to talk about. Sit back, relax, people. Let's start off really quickly talking about mods on this character and a bit of an update for the Jedi Temple Guard. As always, when we do these early looks at characters, you know, as you start seeing new kits and start seeing how things interact, you know, things are going to change. I want to first bring up the Jedi Temple Guard remod that should be brought to your guys' attention. Big thanks to Pimpa, as always, for helping us put together these modding recommendations. If you need someone to help you look at your roster personally and remod from top to bottom, this is the guy to reach out to and nerd about mods. One of the best modders, aka the mod fodder in Galaxy of Heroes. And we're making a change to the Temple Guard. First and foremost, we're seeing the whole entire kit for Jedi Master Mace Windu and Depa Balaba. It's gonna make a lot more sense moving forward, where kind of like what we talked about, we want to make this guy as slow as possible now. Instead of going for high speed, high potency, we want to make him as slow as possible, tons of protection to keep the captive on. And unsure if this is a bug, I haven't had much experience fighting him in Grand Arena yet. Not many people wanted to spend big bucks on these characters, so we'll probably experience it more. But allegedly, if you kill the Jedi Temple Guard too early inside a Grand Arena, when he still has a hold of captive on one of your characters, if you kill him off too early, the captive is apparently permanent. So yeah, we want to make him as slow as possible in case that's maybe an intended design, which would be pretty wild. Like if you take out Thrawn and he has fracture, generally the fracture drops off. But anyways, we want to make him as slow as possible, so little mod update on that. But for Depa Balaba, let's talk about the modding we're gonna want to have with her. The mods I have right now are not the mods I'm using for the future, but I just have no purpose for it until I get Jedi Master Mace Windu. She follows a similar theme like Shin Hati or Padawan Obi-Wan or Sabine Wren, where she's gonna be the apprentice counterpart to her master, and we gotta get some good damage out of this character. So we're gonna recommend offense sets and health sets with offense primaries, crit damage primaries, all that good stuff. You might be wondering, well, why not crit chance mods? Well, again, in the end zone purpose for this character, she's gonna have plenty of ways to get more crit chance like opportunities through her unique ability. She's gonna get lots of advantage just anytime an enemy is inflicted a shatter point. So crit chance might be a little redundant on a character like this, especially where, you know, her crit chance is already, you know, decent enough before all the other bonuses, but otherwise the advantage should compensate for that. So, you know, you can put whatever else you want in that last spot, health set, whatever the case might be. But anyways, all the jokes aside, the quick little preliminary stuff, this character has a similar issue like many other characters where unless you use it in the way the developers want us to use their characters, it's gonna be hard to get a lot of good stuff out of this character. But before I go to the issues that really are gonna be short-lived, barely a week left until we get Jedi Master Mace Windu, and all will be rectified, assuming you're getting the character Jedi Master Mace Windu right away. The good thing is twofold. You know, we've been seeing this theme of Padawans and apprentices for the past year, right? You know, Padawan Obi-Wan, you know, he kind of hit like a wet noodle until, you know, Queen Amidala and more importantly, Master Qui-Gon came around. He hits like a nuke. Yeah, same thing with Shin, kind of a wet noodle until Balin came around, boom. Padawan Sabine, same thing, once with Ahsoka, boom. Very much, actually a more improved version of that, where this character, before Jedi Master Mace Windu, and before, well, let's just say she could access the rest of her kit, she hits actually pretty darn hard. Granted, we're using Keller and Beck lead, but even so, you know, you can maybe use the Qui-Gon, and we're gonna talk about some other team compositions, like for example, you know, Ki-Adi-Mundi. What? Ki-Adi-Mundi with Jedi Vanguard? What's going on here? Well, patience, my friend. She hits pretty darn hard, so that's nice. And the other thing that's I only can really talk about for now, the list is kind of short for the moment. Will the Council ignore all the words? Basically, we're going to see 0% of it. However, well, of course, she gets critical damage up and defense penetration up, so about $110 per buff, as we discovered the other day. But she gets foresight through this ability, and when this foresight, only this foresight that she grants herself expires, whether it got dispelled or, you know, just expired naturally, however it may be, she gains 100% turn meter, which is nice. However, the list kind of ends there. So she hits hard pre-Jedi Master Mace Windu, cool, and she gets a lot of turn meter when the foresight she grants herself expires, cool. But here's the big problem. Unless you're using her with the full Jedi Vanguard team, there's not much you can do. Where, for example, this basic ability, if you don't have all Jedi Vanguard allies, you can ignore that. And if it's not her turn, she can't inflict vulnerable. So a lot of the times, you know, all she's doing is deal physical damage to target enemy. And you know, if you know, that's kind of a sad little basic right there, where some people could argue that, you know, Eth Koth's basic does a little bit more than just deal physical damage to target enemy. So the basic is going to be a little bit lackluster unless you're using a full Jedi Vanguard team, which of course that is the intended purpose. But it goes to show, if you want to venture beyond the Jedi Vanguards, use your, I don't know, Master Luke or Master Kenobi, or, you know, Keller and Beck, or with Qui-Gon Jinn without the rest of the Jedi Vanguard, or normal Jedi like Ki-Adi-Mundi, you're not getting a lot out of this basic. But that's a mild issue. The biggest issue is when we do these reviews, you know, early access things, it's like, oh guys, wait till we get into Grand Arena, you know, we got to get the Omicrons on. The problem is, it's not even an Omicron problem that we have. It's just the fact that her kit is heavily gated unless you bring the rest of the party. And, you know, Mace Windu says this party's over. No, Windu, the party hasn't even begun yet. Because look at this unique ability. A lot of words, right? Well, the sad part is she's really only using this first sentence, where she gets 70% counter chance, 25% offense, recovers 50% health protection whenever she's inflicted a debuff. Basically, the rest of this is non-existent right now. So again, this is a very short-lived problem where Jedi Master Mace Windu is in the leader slot. She gets 30% turn meter, so think of it sort of like, you know, a Dr. Aphra-like thing, for example. And whenever she uses an ability, or he uses an ability, that begins 25% critical damage. So that's a lot of damage right there, right? And the other thing is, whenever an enemy is inflicted a shatter point, Depa gains advantage for 2 turns. So this can maybe be beneficial slightly, you know, even with the current Windu that we have, especially for territories where he's spamming it like all the time. But right now, in a full Jedi Vanguard team, you can't really benefit from that. And if you, and then at the final part, if all allies were Jedi Vanguard, whenever enemy is defeated, they gain Stacks Investigation. And well, the problem is we can't really appreciate Investigation, and we can't really appreciate Reveal. So kind of a hard thing to really appreciate right now. So really, this unique ability, we're only getting just one sentence, which is kind of crazy. Same problem with Will of the Council. Lot of words, lots and lots of words, but all I can really benefit and show you guys right now is the fact that she gives Jedi Vanguard allies critical damage up and defense penetration up, and the clause that the foresight she grants herself when it goes away, she gets 100% Terminator. Everything else is basically non-existent. You know, the basic of this it basically starts off with if Jedi Master Mace Windu is the allied leader. Well, he's not right now. Dispel all buffs on enemies, and enemies have investigation to gain a stack investigation. Okay, well, we don't have Master Mace Windu. Then we have this thing where she deals bonus damage to all enemies of Shatterpoint, then deal physical damage to all enemies, and then she deflects Shatterpoint. The problem is we can't really benefit at all with any of this until, you know, Jedi Master Mace Windu comes around and we get more Shatterpoint opportunities on the field there. So kind of hard to really enjoy this ability too much at the moment. And then, you know, Vapod Discipline. We don't have Jedi Master Mace Windu to benefit from a few things here, especially, well, small little detail, 50% more damage. But even the thing I want to point out again, even though we're missing out on the 50% more damage, she's hitting pretty darn hard. I've had plenty of clips where she's hitting for 60, 70, 80, 100,000 damage. Again, really without any too much benefit with Datacrons, Master Mace Windu. So I feel very confident, more so than before, that she can hit pretty darn hard. And that is, you know, again, even though most of her kit's basically non-functional at the moment until you get Jedi Master Mace Windu, the damage is actually quite nice on the team. Now, granted, most of her stuff also needs Jedi Vanguard allies, but this is actually kind of a weird exception compared to like Jocasta Nu, for example, or, you know, even Jedi Temple Guard, where you need a lot of, you know, mostly a full Jedi Vanguard team. Well, if she can't already use most of her kit because Jedi Master Mace Windu's not around, why not just use your traditional Qui-Gon, Kelleran Beck lineup, where you could maybe just use Ki-Adi-Mundi and Anakin, for example. You have another character that can hit hard, and, you know, all right, sounds pretty nice, right? So it might be one of those things where if you want maybe another good damage dealer in a Qui-Gon, Kelleran Beck lineup, sure, I don't think it's a character worth dropping everything for. Like, if you're trying to rush for a better Qui-Gon or Kelleran Beck team, I don't think she's the solution to anything that's moving the team forward. But just putting it out there, you know, unlike Jocasta, where you can't really use her unless you have a full Jedi Vanguard team, you know, Depa, you could use her. It's just not that amazing, and it sounds weird right now. Again, very temporary problem. Let me repeat that, very temporary problem. It's actually kind of odd. I feel like Depa Billaba for the Jedi Vanguard's actually a step back, because she's, you know, you got to replace someone. Before it, I have Shaak Ti, Barris. The problem is right now, you can't use most of her kit. All she's really providing is damage, which is fine and dandy and all. But otherwise, she's not really contributing to the team, and it feels like a step back. But again, I'm not too worried about it. Once you get Jedi Master Mace Windu, we can finally use the totality of the kit. And that's really the problem. She doesn't have an Omicron gate problem, where generally when I test out a character, it's like, well, guys, we got to wait for a Grand Arena or Territory Wars. Neither of that's the problem. Right now, the problem is, well, we just don't have the character that activates all these additional effects that are on her. And even so, we do have an Omicron. It's for territory battles. I'm particularly not too interested in it. Of course, I'm sure it's gonna be fun and, you know, fun and crazy and bonkers and all that. But the problem is the territory battles, the chicken and the egg problem, right? Well, you need high relic teams to do those later waves, and if you have high relic teams, generally the high relics are sufficient enough to get through the waves. So again, I don't want to go too much in my whole territory battle Omicron spiel. Sounds like a lot of fun, but it's not for territories, not for Grand Arena. Particularly not too interested in it as well. And actually, let's do a quick little tidbit on the Zetas, I suppose, if you're someone that's wanting to get this upgraded and locked and loaded for the upcoming Jedi Master Mace Windu. We're going to take a quick gander at the event. In case you have not seen it, we got a little spoiler inside the game already, getting us nice and excited. She's got 2 Zetas on her, where the first Zeta that you're probably going to want to apply is going to be, well, again, in the future, you're going to want to apply this right here, being able to get the 30% turn meter, that anytime he uses an ability, she gets 25% critical damage. Again, there's a damage Scooby, you know the Scooby-Doos? Come on, do people watch Scooby-Doo anymore? I'm talking about the old school, the old-fashioned one. When Shaggy and Scooby make the tall sandwich, it's an offense sandwich that we have with all these critical damage bonuses and offense bonuses, and you get all those important things with the investigation and revealed. That will make way more sense in the future. So highly recommend, if you are someone planning on getting Jedi Master Mace Windu now or later, that's gonna be the first Zeta to apply. She also has Will of the Council, where she's able to get the buff the spell on all enemies. That's gonna be pretty nice, and all the other fun stuff here, like the protection up, and also more so important, I actually really do, I can appreciate it now. The turn meter she gets, 100% turn meter when foresight expires. Pretty nice. So overall, it's so weird. It's like she's got a lot of words. I can't use 70% of those words right now, but she hits hard. She gets some nice Terminator gains. And, you know, once you get that Jedi Master Mace Windu, I'm sure things going to be a lot nicer right around that corner. And speaking of around that corner, we are in that final countdown where Jedi Master Mace Windu is going to be here in just a little under 7 days. And it seems like it's going to be a fun event. It actually caught me off guard. I was expecting more Order 66 related things regarding Windu as well as Palpatine. But this first tier, it's going to be basically stopping the Bad Batch. So it's kind of, all right, kind of neat. So trying to make thematic sense out of making us farm all these, you know, dark side clones and whatnot. So it makes sense in that regard, right? Then you got that phase 2 where Depa is going to help Caleb escape. So that's kind of nice. So we got, again, making sense of all the marquees we had to farm. And then we have tier 3 where it's going to be Jedi Temple Guardian and the Kanan. So pretty neat. The thing I'm a little disappointed in, the final tier, which they will grant us Master Mace Windu, he's basically just going to be fighting some droids, some separatist forces. So it kind of caught me off guard. I thought this whole Mace Windu was supposed to be kind of celebrating when he kicked Palpatine's butt, one of the few people to do so. Apparently not, but who knows, maybe some cutscenes. So we're looking forward to it. Next week, we got this guy, and then of course we have that Order 66 raid. So people, I know Depa's kind of, you know, missing some of the flair right now, but hopefully, you know, with the little glance that we're seeing right now, the damage, some of the kits on a hypothetical level, we'll be able to have a good time with Jedi Master Mace Windu around the corner. If you're not sold on him, well, guess what? Check out the spin. Check out, you know, that is a respectable spin, people. I think that he's the Jedi he goes the farthest with his lightsabers. So anyways, people, thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you're looking forward to this next week in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And man, it's crazy to say, but we're about to put a little bow, tie it up, and wrap up this lovely Order 66 era that we got to experience. In the meantime, leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And always remember, it's great to be in the Empire today.
Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.